Welcome to Snetterton Circuit, where we are just moments away from the 2021 Time Attack Final. And what a season it's been.
Had a very interesting round at Brands Hatch last time, didn't you?
Yeah, no, it was. We had some gearbox issues and, well, yeah, ripped fourth gear out of the gearbox, so we had to rebuild that and get that back in built ready for the qualifying. So
you did that between rounds, right?
on the second session, I think the third lap, yeah, ripped fourth gear out of the box and then pulled straight in, and yeah, we got to work and got it back out in the final. So 2.5 hours, I think, in and out.
That's pretty good, then.
Yeah, no, it's not too bad. It was a big push, but it was good to get it. Obviously, the boys helped and we got it back in.
Because normally I would think, yeah, gearbox broken, that's the end of your day, right?
Yeah, no, well, for most, but luckily, obviously, being DC2, there's no subframes. It's pretty much unbolt everything and hook it out. So it's not a big job, but not for a lot, obviously.
And obviously you had an amazing final round as well.
Yeah, no, I don't know what happened. I don't know. I'm not sure what happened. Obviously found the accelerator pedal and yeah, managed to nick third place. And obviously James, teammate, first place. So it's very good.
So both the Delano cars on the podium for the final then?
Yeah, so yeah, James obviously nicked first and I managed to just nick third. So it was a good round for us, I think. Very, very good round.
Sean's team really pulled it out of the bag to go from having a broken gearbox to a podium all in one weekend. Another rookie who's making a splash this year is Andrew Hawes, who is not only in his first year of Time Attack, but he is also leading his class.
I'm chatting a bit with Andrew Hawes. So you're having a really great season so far, right?
Yeah, I can't complain. Obviously it's my first season racing at all, so thus far, not a bad result. The car's performed really well, hasn't really let me down too much other than a few typical mini electrical issues, but it has not done bad, yeah.
So you come straight into this, you didn't kind of like start off with like a single round entry, you just jumped into a full season?
Yeah, so I was talking to one of my sponsors last year maybe, talking about door-to-door racing, saying that I want to get into the sport a bit more other than just doing track days. And they mentioned Time Attack and said, yeah, do you want to give it a go? And 100%, and now I'm here doing it, looking at next season.
And so would you recommend that to people? Just come along, just try a full season or try like a race before?
I mean, it's an expensive way to get into it, but yeah, definitely do a single round entry or something like that. Bring your car, run what you brung.
And so looking on top, I think, of the class for the season?
Yeah, 100%. The car's handling really well. Thanks to Adam, he's like my setup guy. He's done a great job setting up the suspension and whatnot. Engine foolproof, and then just extra time in me, find that, and we'll be on for a winner.
So Andrew's Mini Challenge 210 is a pretty rare machine. It's one of only 210 ever made. But there are some cars that are even more unique than that, and that is the Simon Norris Designs Evo. One of one, short wheelbase. Let's have a look.
Successful day?
We paper it's successful, but in the garage it wasn't that successful. Loads of problems, and I don't know why, but the final for some reason was really slow for everyone. I haven't worked out why yet, but yeah, won, which I suppose is what you want, but it wasn't a good victory at all. So
was the track conditions, was it a little bit slippery, or track temperatures kind of going down, or?
Yeah, well, I'm battling this oil leak, which is not good. The cracked sump we've got, which we're trying to fix. But I don't really know. I don't know whether the temperature dropped and some moisture was coming out of the tarmac. But one of the spoiler elements off because the car's slow down the straight at the moment, in inverted commas, and it just didn't turn in. It didn't have any braking stability, acceleration, it was spinning up. I don't really know. I spoke to a couple of other competitors and they said there was no grip either. So, but I mean the times are 4 seconds off where we should have been. So, but the qualifying felt quite good in terms of grip level. So, don't know, it's up in the air, that one. You have to ask somebody else who might be a bit more knowledgeable about this place at that time of the evening. So
yeah, a bit of an eventful day for you, but just for anyone who's not familiar with the car, it's not a standard, is it?
No, far from. It's a bit of a model, really, in a good way. Yeah, it's completely changed. It's tubed the chassis. The car looks the same on the outside. from aero perspective. It's got a new sticker scheme, but yeah, it's a longitudinally mounted engine. It's as far removed from its original incarnation back in 2006 as it could be, but it's still, as far as we're concerned, it's an Evo. Yes, it's been tubed, fine, but it's still Evo hubs, effectively, Evo engine. You know, all the big things. It looks like an Evo, although it's shorter. So yeah, it's very different from just a stock thing. But we cater for those for our customers. So.
Are you running a GTR transmission as well?
Yeah, it's a Hollinger RD6S, which is a sports car gearbox that the V8 supercars run, for instance. And then it's got a GTR, the R35, 32, 33, 34 front diff, transfer box and rear diff. So yeah, Skyline running gear.
So yeah, a real mix of components in there.
Yeah, yeah. But I mean, that's been, I'm going to give myself the kiss of death now, but that's been unbelievably reliable. So
brilliant. Well, fingers crossed for you today, Simon.
thank you very much.
Thank you.
There we go, and welcome to the Time Attack final. The final. This is the final. That's it. It's all done after today, which is pretty emotional. I love doing Time Attack, and the winter always feels long and pretty boring. I think we need something like Andros Trophy or something like over here, some good winter motorsport to give life some meaning when there's no Time Attack going on. But that being said, we must do what we must do. We're a few minutes into the final here, and you can see the Team Confusion machine there, driven by Lewis Noon. Car that's had all kinds of adventures this year. There goes Andrew Kime in that Pocket Rocket Citroen Saxo. There we go. Oh, bit of a slide there from Lewis Noon in that Team Confusion machine. Honda K20 powered Ford Fusion. Completely deranged idea. But Team Confusion approached this and thought, look, the Ford Fiesta has been done. We have done this. Just take a look around Modified Live and you'll see it for yourself. You know, if we want to set out with a build that no one's done before, the Ford Fiesta ain't the one. Why don't we build a really quick Ford Fusion instead? And so they did, and it's been an absolutely great time.
I can see Chris Butcher and Andrew Kime already setting fast lap times going out there. Already into the 122s.
Yep, Andrew Kime, look at him hopping those sausage curbs. Man on a mission. And of course, this is their last chance of the season to make any kind of result for themselves and grab some final championship points. You know, Susie and I did try to give you some points predictions and stuff like that, but Time Attack employs drop round, where competitors, you know, they can exclude their worst result. And
two drop rounds.
Two drop rounds, yeah. And of course what that means is, yeah, it makes it very difficult to try to understand who's going to drop what and so on. So it's tricky to tell you any kind of prediction with regards to the points, but there are points on the line today for the final time this season, and these drivers are going to be keen as ever to try to grab as many of those as they can. And Andrew Kime, you can just see how keenly that car pivots around itself. That short wheelbase, front-wheel drive pocket rocket formula, driven to perfection, really. That is as good as a pocket rocket could be, maybe. It's definitely the most faithful interpretation of that formula. Little tiny little car, little engine, great handling, great rotation, and yeah, we're all the more lucky for having Pocket Rocket here with us in Time Attack. Used to be divided into Pocket Rocket Force Induction and Pocket Rocket Naturally Aspirated. This year we've combined them into one class, and we've still had a great time of it, actually, and we've seen a very interesting battle develop within Pocket Rocket, and Michael Blanketsop in the single round entry Honda Integra there, throwing a cat amongst the pigeons as well with that naturally aspirated, presumably 2-liter engine. Tim Bedford in that Mazda RX-8 crosses the start-finish line, sets a time of 1:31, presumably an outlap there from Tim Bedford. And off he goes. Then you can see his headlights are now on. Tim Bedford on his way to set a flying lap. We saw him last year in a Super Impreza in the Pro cars, being driven on the absolute limit from the get-go. This year he's back in this little Mazda RX-8. Mazda, whatever segment they enter, they make the most fun and best handling cars they possibly can. And Tim Bedford in a car that is largely stock, very faithful to the spirit of Clubman. I think it might have BC Racing coilovers, but I think other than that, it is a largely standard car. And yet, very capable around a track, especially in the hands of Tim Bedford. You can see that little orange line under his name at the bottom of the screen, meaning that those two lines represent the two sectors here at Snetterton 200. The orange means best in class. No, it means personal best. Yeah, so he's in a personal best sector 1. And now he meanders his way through that final sector, Carms, and so on. Into the final corner he goes. Let's just follow him around here. Runs a little bit wide. I think that's probably allowable. Inside wheels not touching the yellow lines. That's probably fine. Round Carmen Murray's he goes, and now onto the center straight goes Tim Bedford. Let's see if he can beat his, there we go, 1:30.2. Good enough for second in class, but an absolute age away from Andrew Hawes, who you just saw on the interview now speaking to Susie in that mini challenge 210. In the pits after putting in a very respectable 1:23.4 and well clear of anybody else. Tom Jewell in the, is that a Honda CRX? Honda Civic?
CRX, yeah.
That is a CRX.
It's not a Civic, it's a CRX, yeah.
Because they also did a Civic with a glass hatch as well, didn't they? Which confuses me. I got stung once, and from that point, I never know. But yep, that is a CRX. So another car that is great to see here in time. Again, the variety of cars is, you know, that's what keeps bringing me back. I just absolutely love it. But there we go. Tom Jewell then hot on the heels of Tim Bedford.
You can see in the previous lap as well, I think Lewis Noon set his fastest lap. He went up into second, I think, briefly, and then yeah, Michael Blackenstop has then come back into second in Pocket Rocket. So yeah, really kind of competitive, like top 3 in that round.
Yeah, let's just take a look. Meanwhile, we haven't really focused much on Chris Butcher in the Lexus ISF, but we set the scene a little bit earlier on. But if you did miss qualifying, Snetterton 200 is very much a power circuit. In this layout, the Snetterton 300, which is a mile longer and includes the technical infield section, that caters to all kinds of cars, because suddenly the lower powered, lighter, better chassised machines can claw back some time lost on the straights. But the 200 layout misses the infield and has 2 very long straights, and that works in the favor of drivers of cars such as Chris Butcher's ISF with 400 horsepower from that 5-liter V8. Meanwhile, also in Clubman Plus, is Tim Moon in that Subaru Impreza Estate. That classic Impreza shape.
And Andrew Kimes just set again, I think the fastest time.
Yeah, Andrew Kime.
Fastest still.
Yep, fastest in Pocket Rocket. Interesting little fight that we've seen develop between Andrew Kime and Michael Blankensop, who is not eligible for points, being a single round entry, effectively an invitational entry.
I think if you see Michael Blackensop and Lewis Noon there, really, you know, within, I'll just wait for the times to be updated, but within, what is that, 300ths of a second of each other? So yeah, really, really closely lapping.
And exactly a second gap between Andrew Kime and Michael Blankensop for now. But yeah, Michael Blankensop just ever so slightly clear of Lewis Noon in that Team Confusion Ford Fusion. And it's a car that they change driver pretty much every round, so it's all very democratic. Somebody else gets a go every round, and Team Confusion is definitely such a great little project. And yes, Sarah Wallace here, thank you very much to those of you who are watching the stream, saying thank you to the Orange Army. Shout out to the Orange Army, absolutely big shout out. We couldn't be here today without the volunteering and hard work of our marshals, so thank you Chris Butcher then in that Lexus ISF, headlights switched on, signaling to, never mind, he's missed the braking point. And he's
really slowed down there. I wonder if he's got an issue. Oh, he's not. He must have missed that. He's not on the main circuit there. He's on the runoff,
exactly. So. He's taking the escape route. There we go. You can just see the Gizfab K11 Micro peeling off into the pit lane. Meanwhile, here's Lewis Noon in the Team Confusion machine. Faster in Sector 1. Fails to improve on his best in Sector 2. And does not improve on his best lap time so far by the looks of things. Michael Blenkinsop in that DC5 shape Honda Integra, one of 3 that we're lucky enough to have with us today.
Great to watch them chasing each other around there. They've got a real battle going on.
There we go, 2 very different machines, yet both in Pocket Rocket. Both of them actually probably powered by the same engine, actually, thinking about it. I'm assuming, I can't see any Type R badges or anything like that. I don't know, I mean, I'm assuming this is a K20 Integra. Oh, that's a red badge, isn't it? So that's presumably a K20. And so is the Team Confusion machine. Kyle Young saying, come on, Eden Gizfab. Likewise, as always, Team Confusion with loads of fans as well. Look at that Honda Integra bouncing around, trying to carry loads of momentum there through corms. Into Murray they come again, clobbering that curb, bouncing through, and still remains hot on the heels of Lewis Noon in that Team Confusion machine. And Hawes then in Clubman, presumably happy with his results, remains in the pits for a big chunk of the session. He only actually set 3 laps in the final. And you can see he sounded pretty bullish about his chances when speaking with Sue.
I think he can afford to be. I think, championship-wise, I think he's got all the points he needs. So, but I know he's always keen to get out there and set a time. So it'd be interesting to see if he just comes out. Although looking at the time,
that's it. He's done. That is his season finish. But I mean, that's not bad for your debut season to come in and clean up like that, and not even need to take part in the final, really, save from 1 or 2 laps. Great effort there. Look at Andrew Kime there, up on 3 wheels, coming through that final corner. Danny James Hunter asking, can the Fusion beat a DC5? Absolutely send it, Lewis. And let's just take a look at that battle then. Andrew Kime.
Yeah, brilliant, going faster still.
I mean, you could see that commitment there, up on 3 wheels. And that commitment paying dividends with Andrew Kime jumping straight up to the top of the timing screen with a 121.1. Leading class and also leading overall, faster than anybody on track right now. And a great fight between Michael Blenkinsop and Lewis Noon. Like you said, Susie, separated by 0.03 of a second. Michael Birch and the Tegawa Racing Honda Civic had a big old incident last time out at Brands Hatch in round 7. And Tegawa, if anyone can do it, Tegawa have the expertise and the spares to build a brand new Honda at the trackside, and so they managed to repair Michael Birch's car, get it back on track the same day, and so their time attack journey continues. So let's see what Michael Birch can do. Michael Birch, who on other circuits, perhaps less so the power-hungry Snetterton 200, but Michael Birch on other circuits being very competitive in that Honda Civic.
Into the pits, so.
Yep. So most drivers now taking the checkered flag and or going into the pits. There we go. Chris Butcher then perhaps also a little bit emotional.
Yeah, he's had an amazing season, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
And drives to the circuit in that car in that state and drives home from the circuit with his air conditioning
What
and then races around all day.
I mean, that is my favorite. That is my favorite big power fast saloon. Friend of mine was trying to get something. Now, unfortunately, with the big JDM tax explosion we've seen recently, suddenly the prices of these ISFs have like doubled over the past few years. So that was no longer in the equation. So we went with something else. But I do love the ISF. What a machine!
So you can see Jonathan Ellsworth in the pit lane. So and Ross Walker. It's going to be really interesting. I mean, I'm not quite sure in terms of championship points. You know what, how Ross and David Dyson are very, very tight, and Jonathan Ellsworth and James Dover again very, very tight on championship points. I think it literally comes down to this round. Be really interesting to see the battle out on track.
Again, it's tricky to try to work it out precisely with the drop rounds and all of that stuff. That's a lot of calculations that you need to sit and do. But yeah, it's very, it's very possible that a lot of positions are going to be decided right now in this final session in Club 2-Wheel Drive. Very closely fought.
It's just great to see a racing go right down to the last event of the season, right? It's, I mean, perhaps not so great for the guys driving. It's
That's
a little bit
stressful.
nerve-wracking. But yeah, I mean, in terms of the rounds, it's been so closely fought all season. It's really great to see.
There we go, Natalie Brooks in the faster BMW M3.
Yeah, Natalie had a great qualifying as well. So let's see, yeah, if she can replicate that 4th position again.
I think she, yeah, fourth. Good effort. And I think this is a circuit that really works in its favor. And I think, it is a heavy car, right? We looked at Russ Walker's M4, which is quite a similar machine. That's, 1,700 kilos. Presumably, this isn't going to be far off that. And, yeah, at a circuit like Cadwell Park, Brands Hatch, Indy, you don't want a car that's which is that big, But like at a Snetterton, like a circuit. Let me try that again. Generally speaking, at a technical track like Cadwell Park or Brands Hatch, Indy, you don't want a car which is that big and heavy, really. But it's something at a track like Snetterton 200. We've seen the cars of Russ Walker and the similarly spec'd faster BMW M3 really come into their own. I mean, Russ Walker actually has been quick everywhere, as has been David Dyson. Then everyone else has kind of come and gone, right? We've had a whole bunch of different people on the podium. I mean, we had James Dover win last time out at Brands Hatch. Very, very impressive showing from him. A real giant-killing performance, I think, from James Dover. And Delano Built Racing doing great things all year. Jonathan Ellsworth, the first out onto the track. Jonathan Ellsworth, again, did phenomenally well at Brands Hatch, a circuit that works very well for this car. And you can see Russ Walker there getting a little bit of a wobble. Headlights already on. In fact, Natalie Brooks fishtailing there onto the center straight. These drivers raring to go, very, very keen to attack from the second that green light glows. And now the outlaps are nearly complete for Jonathan Ellsworth and Russ Walker. Behind them, Dan Holman coming back as a single round entry into Club 4-Wheel Drive in a car that he's developed quite a lot over the past 18 months, but not a car that he's driven very much. Here we go, then outlaps complete. Jonathan Ellsworth leads that queue. Headlights on for both him and Russ Walker. Two very different machines. Just look at the size of them. One is literally a third of the weight of the other one.
You can see the difference in the terminal speed.
Yeah.
So, it's just incredible. But Jonathan will be really keen to get out there and set the lap time. It's getting towards the end of the day. Track temperatures are probably dipping a little bit.
Yeah,
see
absolutely.
if that actually affects the grip on the tyres at all. But yeah, Jonathan, lighter car, he can throw it into the corners, it's super grippy around the corners, but obviously we've got these big straights at Snetterton. You can just see the difference between his car and Russ Walker's M4 pulling away there.
Yeah, so that's it. As soon as they come onto that Bentley straight, it's game over, isn't it? You just see how much distance Russ Walker's put between them.
Yeah, and as Jonathan was saying, he's just got to be so brave taking all of the speed into the corners. Especially with a bit of cement dust down his, yeah, it's just how brave can you be?
It feels, these are such different cars. Again, one is literally triple the weight of the other one, or thereabouts. It feels almost kind of perverse to see them. It's like when you see a race car and a race bike together. Like, it just doesn't make sense. It looks wrong, because they're such different machines. And yet, here they are in the same class, a little Caterham Supersport and a BMW M4.
Well, that's what I love about Time Attack,
Absolutely.
right? You're getting these different cars in classes, just between these three cars. It's and yeah, tightly fought depending upon which track it is. So
yeah. I think massive kudos to whoever puts the rule book together and the way it can produce such close fighting from such different cars. And look at those tiny little wheels on the Caterham. It's like a bicycle wheels. And yet, it's in the fight.
You can see straight away Ross Walker and David Dyson, you know, there's, what, just 0.2 of a second between them, so it's going to be a big battle between them for this final.
Yeah, you can see some kind of animal in the background, which you don't really want to see. Maybe a deer, big creature, just in the background of that camera. David Dyson blows right past Jonathan Ellsworth, a sitting duck, really, at this track. Headlights on, you know, he's not on a cool-down lap. That is just genuinely the lack of pace of the Caterham Supersport compared to the 911 GT3. Daniel Holman, though, about the same as the Caterham. They've been lapping pretty closely. And both Jonathan Ellsworth and David Dyson setting class best times. No personal best times.
Oh, Natalie Brooks is into third. Yeah,
oh my
with
goodness.
122, so great result from Natalie.
Yeah, if she can get onto the podium, that would be awesome.
Yeah, that would be amazing.
We've had so many different podium finishers this year. In Class 2-wheel drive, that is. There you go. Jonathan Ellsworth goes third, though. Displaces Natalie Brooks' short-lived provisional podium. There we go. She claims it right back.
Oh, brilliant. Yeah, it's really hotting up in this final.
Meanwhile, both Ross Walker and David Dyson back in the 18s where they feel comfortable. And you can see them sharing that track space now. Ross Walker allowing David Dyson through.
Yeah, and I think that's going to be Ross letting his tyres have a bit of a cool down.
Yeah,
so,
it's just his headlights are still on, that's all, so. But it must be the case. He's even allowed Jonathan Ellsworth through, so he's probably in a cool-down lap.
Yeah, and I was about to ask, where's James Dover? And James Dover just goes into third
There
place
he is!
there,
Oh
so
my goodness, with the 19! Oh my goodness, I think that's the fastest he's been all weekend. I don't think he's dipped below the 20s.
I think so.
Wow,
Just have a
if
quick
he
check.
manages to turn this into a podium, that would be something. To manage to put a 20-year-old Honda Integra into the mix with a very late model 911 GT3 and BMW M4, like he did at Brands Hatch, but this time at a power circuit, that's some very impressive drive, because you know at that point, it's all handling, it's all commitment.
Yeah, he was a 120 during qualifying, so that he's yeah, PB. Oh, and then you see John Fletcher coming back into fourth, and I was just about to say, I think championship points, I mean, it's very hard to tell, but I think if they replicate almost the same results from qualifying, then James may just still into third place in the championship, but, you know, Jonathan Ellsworth, amazing lap there and coming back into fourth, so it's going to be so close between them, right down to the wire.
Johnny Fletcher, another top Club 2-wheel drive contender. I don't think quite as successful here today at the Snetterton 200 circuit. Again, it's a very unique kind of track. Generally, Time Attack visits circuits that favor chassis and power, whereas in Snetterton, the balance very much lies towards favoring powerful cars. But Johnny Fletcher, usually there or thereabouts, and here he is. There he goes!
He's into fourth. Oh, great result from Johnny Fletcher there. It's just so close between, I think, you know, the top 6 drivers there.
Wow. Wow, wow, wow. I mean,
3 cars running in the 121s.
Yeah.
And yeah, with what, 300ths of a second between them?
Incredible. Incredible.
Sorry.
David Lawrence, very quick throughout the morning's running.
Oh, David Dyson just goes back in first. Sorry to interrupt. It's just literally people beating each other's laps
into the
here.
17s. I think this is around the pace of the final yesterday. And he's managed to crack into the 17s again. Also, we got David Lawrence and Neil Green. So that Mitsubishi Colt then's back setting lap times. David Lawrence, in the meantime, very quick in the morning's running, leading at times. But I think now, as the pressure cooker switches up to 11, you can really see some of the other drivers come into a class of their own. So our top 6 drivers building up a sizable lead of 4 seconds over anybody else. And meanwhile, David Dyson into the 17s, very far ahead of anyone else. James Dover, you can see they're pulling back into the pits. Looked like something was a little bit wobbly on the front the bumper of that car.
Johnny Fletcher is on a fire. Let's see.
Johnny Fletcher fails to improve, stays in 4th place. And there goes the Mitsubishi Colt with its headlights on. Neil Greenland improving on his PB to 126.
And Chrissy Martin in four-wheel drive as well, improving on his PB, so moving up to 121.
Yep.
So you can see it just between all of these cars, it's just so close.
And Neil Greenland historically has been so quick in that Mitsubishi Colt. But again, I think the fact that this is so much of a power circuit really does skew the form book a little bit. Usually Neil Greenland is right up there. But here, you know, perhaps things not quite working to his favor. David Dyson putting in a slower lap just now, presumably trying to cool things down before a final attack. We have 6 minutes of this session remaining. There goes Neil Greenland in that 118 Pro Alloys Mitsubishi Colt, bouncing along on 3 wheels as it comes through the final sector. Through Corums he goes into Murray, little bit of a lockup from the back.
Meanwhile, Ross Walker has improved on his
Did you just see? He just laid some fat 11s down coming out of that final corner. Wow, I thought, is that oil? What is that? And then you could just see he literally left a big black 11 on corner exit, trying to put down that power in the little front-wheel drive Mitsubishi Colt.
Yeah, personal best for him, moving up to a 122.
There we go. So actually managing to surpass, yep, gains a place there. David Lawrence now back down to 8th. Just at the tail end of Club 2-wheel drive. James Dover perhaps, I wonder what he's doing in the pits. We see this where when you set up your car, the car isn't really moving around. You know, you don't know precisely what kind of conditions it's going to be under on track. So you try to make educated guesses, and that'll decide your spring, your suspension settings, your tire pressures, and so on. And in these crucial final moments, drivers are now beginning to understand maybe there's somewhere they can gain a 10th if they just dial out a couple of PSI here, a couple of PSI there, 2 clicks on the coilovers here or there, click on their anti-roll bar. Whatever it is, you know, you'll see drivers going into the pits. In fact, James Dover is back out now. Again, Neil Greenland smoking the front tires coming out of that final corner. And these drivers trying to make them absolute most they can, squeeze every last 10th possible out of these in the final minutes of the session, jumping into the pits for those frantic last-minute adjustments, just try to find something else.
You see Neil Greenland improving his time, Natalie improving her time as well, so let's see if Ross just got that, what's he got? Just 0.2 of a second, just over 0.2 of a second behind David Dyson. Going to make up. I think he needs to win this final, I believe, for the championship.
It all comes down to these final minutes in Club 2-wheel drive. I think I know the sun is kind of beginning to set. Maybe it was an orangey red reflection in the brakes of Russ Walker, but it did look like they were glowing just for a second there under the big braking zone at the end of the Bentley Straight. There we go. So James Dover is then back out to mount one final assault, taking a few minutes in the pit lane to perhaps consider what his final moves are. He is down to his final cards now. What is he going to play? Did he change his tire pressures? What could he do in the pit lane there in these final seconds? That is for James Dover and his team to know. He is back out trying to set one final big lap.
And again, considering, you know, he completely stripped gear again yesterday, so not again, sorry, that was Sean previously, but yeah, so he stripped 4th gear, they've replaced that overnight, so it's a spectacular result there from James getting up into 3rd. And especially with, you know, the big power, the GT3 and the M4 as well.
At Brands Hatch, you expected, I mean, it was shocking. It was such a great result to see him grab that surprise win. But here, you know, especially after yesterday, you thought, yeah, this isn't going to be James Dover's track with that kind of build. And yet, here he is, and he's on the podium right now. But we've got a few minutes left, and things could change. That being said, he looks like he's got a comfortable 1 second lead over his nearest rival, Natalie Brooks, who is within touching distance of that podium. Is she going to be able to close that gap in the final minutes? Some little crows there spectating from the grass. welcome on board. We don't discriminate. All species welcome to Time Attack. There we go. Johnny Fletcher again, often in the Club 2-wheel drive fight. Hot on the heels of David Dyson's Porsche 911 GT3. Dan Holman improves on his personal best. Builds his advantage in Club 4-wheel drive with a 120.9. 0.3 of a second clear.
I've just been frantically looking this up in the background as well, but I think that may actually be a Club 2-wheel drive lap record as well, David Dyson at the moment.
Oh, no way!
Yeah, I think it was a 117.997 previously,
Oh!
so yeah.
Incredible.
Yeah, setting some blistering times out there today. I mean, track conditions being perfect. Who would have thought? End of October,
Yeah.
you know, double header at Snetterton. Who would have thought the weather was going to be this good? Been really fortunate.
There we go. So potential lap record there for David Dyson in Club 2-wheel drive. That would be a great way to end the year. Incredible.
Yeah, he's got to be happy with that.
But I mean, if anyone can do it, and if any car can do it, it's definitely David Dyson and that 911 GT3. Half a minute of this session remaining. Let's see what's going on. Ross Walker, having set a better Sector 1 than anybody here.
Well, let's see if he can just pull back. That it's got the 0.2 of a second.
It's
It'd be incredible if it just literally comes down to the last lap.
It's doable. It is doable.
Just keep an eye on those set times.
Yep, so I've got nothing fresh from him now, so I think he's probably on his way round to complete Sector 1.
It's incredible stuff, just watching it go right down to the wire.
Checkered flag is out. Okay, Ross Walker fails to improve in Sector 1. So it looks like his challenge is over.
Oh, Johnny Fletcher's just moved up to 4th as well.
Oh!
Just
Oh!
knocked Natalie off into 5th. But yeah, you just see it's so close between them. Amazing result, you know. Yeah, all the way down to 7th, he's like 121, so...
Incredible, incredible. What a battle. Club 2-wheel drive
So
never
competitive this
fails
year.
to deliver.
And then Dan Holman also, you know, not being in the car for a year and going out there and setting a 120, that's a great result as well.
Literally, he's been driving his van for the past 18 months, and then he jumps in the Evo and
I
wins.
think Ross has just set another faster time, but just not enough to pip David Dyson. Oh my God, that's so close. What are we talking?
PB!
We're talking
300ths
of a second here.
Yeah, less. Two. Oh dear.
Wow,
2
that's
tenths,
so
2 tenths between them.
Close.
Wait, hang on. Yeah, 2 tenths, 2 tenths. That was close. And to think he managed, I mean, good on him. That's a great effort from Ross Walker to be in the final seconds of the session, to not post a best Sector 1, and to still push so hard through Sector 2 that he manages to grab a PB.
Yeah, great driving from both there.
Great driving, great driving. Club 2-wheel drive.
And James taking 3rd as well, so getting the podium on there.
Again, goes from a win at Brands Hatch to a podium at Snetterton 200 in a car that was probably really not the best for this track. Incredible effort from James Dover. Look at
Interestingly,
that.
yeah, and Jonathan Ellsworth, I know yeah, it's so close between him and the championships. I'm not quite sure what that means for 3rd place
What
in the
this
championships.
means,
We'll have to kind of look at the points afterwards.
Incredible, incredible.
Great
Okay.
Dan and then Chris Martin as well.
Non-stop. Pro cars are now ready to hit the track.
But yeah, it's great. It's really going down to the wire.
Need a sip of water.
Let's see what Colin Dorwood can do today. He was having a few problems yesterday. Actually had a bit of a misfire on the car, and then overnight they've managed to solve that. They couldn't actually find what it was, but they changed all the coil packs, they changed the spark plugs, and actually have gone out and no more misfire today. So yeah, we see what he can do.
It's just the...
And Andrew Barber again setting a personal best in qualifying. So yeah, let's see what he can do in the final. These guys are really pushing it right down to this last round.
Ian Pittman in that super rare Impreza Type R.
You can see all of the illustrations on the side of Ian's car there. It's, his son and daughter have drawn those on. There's some great illustrations. I hope they show the back, which says, I'm pretty sure says "I'm fast" written on the back. And
Eat my dust.
Eat my dust as well. So excellent livery additions there.
Pull right in that Impreza P. Two very rare Imprezas here in Time Attack.
Yeah, 2 thumbs up there from Ben Robinson. And I think again he may just because I think Darren hasn't been able to come out for qualifying and final. Then yeah, again the championship may be Ben may be able to kind of like take that. So
yeah. I think he's largely unopposed here today. And if looking back at the image of Ben Robinson, he has taped over with duct tape anything that could be causing drag. So look at his headlights. He's taped over the little headlights.
I think he's going for the class record basically. You know, he set that yesterday, and I think he's out to set it again today. Yeah,
I do wonder whether that's overkill at this point. But he's taped over his unnecessary headlights. He's taped over the panel gaps. This is like Salt Lake top speed runs. He's really trying to dial out as much drag as he can. Good luck, Team Pittman, says Tina Smith. Well done, Johnny Fletcher, says Ronnie Amos. There we go. All of these drivers now just getting their out laps out of the way as we head into the final session of Time Attack, by which I mean the final of Time Attack 2021. What a year it's been. Colin Dorward there going around the final second with it looks like a fresh new livery this time. I think last time around he just had the Scottish flag on the roof and that was it. It was just the Scottish flag reproduced faithfully. Now it's like a little bit stylized, it's a little bit choppy, it's got like some thick black lines, and the rest of the car looks a little bit fresher too. He's got that Samsonas branding on the car, which for me as like a 8th Lithuanian I'm slightly proud of. I probably can't claim that, but it's pretty cool. So I think Colin Dorward with a fresh livery for this round. Andrew Barber there as well, fellow Scot. Bouncing along there onto the Bentley straight, kicking up that cement dust, which has mostly been cleared now, but still remains. There we go, Andrew Barber then. Headlights kind of on. It's those little things, little LEDs. In the lower classes, cars do need to keep their factory headlight units as you progress through the classes. You've seen it on Simon Norris's car when, on the B-roll, when Susie was interviewing him, the Norris Designs Evo front clamshell is just one piece, including headlight. The headlights are just, it's just a picture of headlights on an otherwise fully composite clamshell. And so Andrew Barber here, instead of having actual headlights, has these tiny, tiny little LEDs. And that's how he signals that he's on a flying lap.
Straight out, so 112.9. So.
Andrew Barber straight on the attack. And of course, this is part of the thing. Part of the challenge of Time Attack is even if you're in a class that's not very big, you've got 2 or 3 cars in there, and maybe your win is already a given. You're still trying to beat your Simon Norris, goes straight into the 11s. Close to his own lap record already. You see Simon Norris there with these little similar LEDs on. They're like eyes on stalks, aren't they? Like a signal, but pointing forwards. These little LEDs that protrude from the bodywork. Yeah, so not only are you aiming to beat your competitors, but you are aiming to beat yourself, right? And I was speaking to Eden Young of GizFab, saying, key for him this year, he was last quite often at Time Attack, but crucially, he set his benchmark for him to beat next year. He's competing with himself as well as everyone else. And these drivers here yeah, even if their position is guaranteed within the championship, they still want to do the very best they can just to see how far they can push themselves and their teams. What's going on?
You can see
Colin Dorward.
Just got into the 111. He's so close to Simon Norris though. He's 111.83 as opposed to 879. So just Pro Extreme was just so unbelievable.
Ian Pittman. Yeah. But he's been, I think this is his first year, isn't it? And he's been very, very quick all year. You can see Ian Pittman there really throwing it around onto the final exit onto the center straight. And yeah, you know, we were saying all of that stuff about trying to compete with yourself to be the best self you can be. But of course, when you've got a big fight on your hands, that is no less exciting. And so Simon Norris and Colin Dorward then back into the 11s and separated by, what is that, 4,000ths of a second? 4,000ths of a second between Simon Norris and Colin Dorward, both in Pro Extreme. And one could argue this is what we came here to see. You can see big plume of smoke there from the back of Simon Norris's machine, I think. Was that smoke? Okay. Simon Norris, here he goes. Sets a better Sector 1 than anyone else. Goes purple in Sector 1. Makes his way round that Mitsubishi Evo there. Into Carms he goes. Nice tight line there. That aero and those slicks really making themselves known. So much aerodynamic and mechanical grip there from Simon Norris. Making his way through and across the line. Simon Norris into the 110s.
Oh my God.
Simon Norris into the 110s.
Yeah, he'll be happy with that. It was so close with him and Colin Dorward.
Oh my goodness. 8 minutes of the session left. We may go faster still. So Simon Norris beating his own Pro Extreme 4-wheel drive record. But of course, this time he is in Pro Extreme overall, where he is still 1 second off the lap record. In our excitement, didn't have one of the microphones switched off. But believe you me, it was great. It was all happening. This is.
So let's see. Ben with everything taped up, looking to. Yep.
Yeah, there we go. Goes faster still.
Lap time again.
Literally, he's just taped everything up.
So he's getting close to his time in qualifying again.
Here we go, Simon Norris with the 110. Oh my goodness. Great stuff. And now his Sector 1, 20 seconds slower than last time. He is needing a real breather from that.
Yeah, I think after the troubles he's had, you know, he's grateful to get out there and get a good lap. And I mean, what a lap that is, the 110. It's the first time we've seen people going into the 110s, I think, this weekend. This weekend.
Yep. I'd love to see an onboard from that. Hopefully he's got all the GoPros running. Russ Patton also, let's just give him a mention. He's doing very well on his comeback. He's been out of Time Attack for a little while. I mean, he's never been out of the paddock. I see him at all the events, basically, but he hasn't turned a wheel in anger in Time Attack for a while. But here in BC Racing Pro 4-wheel drive, returning as a single round entry and pumping in a 117.1. Great work there from Russ Patton as well. There we go, that number 800 Delano built Evo. You can see Simon Norris in the back, top left corner of the screen, getting very squirrely onto the Bentley straight, putting that power down nice and early and making the most use of those slick tires as he can to try to maximize his drive onto that big, long back straight.
Does that mean he's going to go chasing the lap record?
Yeah, he goes faster still in Sector 1. By a considerable margin, I think. So now he's just got to string it together for Sector 2. Mind you, he's just come onto some traffic right on the racing line. He is offline, coming into the final corner. Big lockup from him.
Oh.
Unlucky there for Simon Norris. And again, like we've said, this is a key part of the Time Attack puzzle, is not only setting a good lap, but doing it when you've got a clear track and making yourself and finding that clear track space. Unlucky there, coming across a car that appeared to also be in a fast lap, therefore under no obligation to yield. It's finding its own fight. Although unfortunately compromising the lap there of Simon Norris, who brakes heavily to let the number 800 car through, perhaps just trying to find himself a little bit of track. And of course that doesn't only compromise his lap then, which had the potential to be a record, it also compromises his exit onto the center strip in his next lap. So super unlucky there for Simon Norris, compromising 2 laps by messing up that final corner. Very unfortunate there, but that's just one of those things. That's a classic time attack incident, and one of those skills is finding yourself that track space. So Simon Norris backing well off to give himself that space to mount one final attack in the final 4.5 minutes of this session. Deep breath there. Oh, what a session, what a session. We may see another lap record set today. In late October in the UK, this is not when you expect to be seeing this kind of thing. Ian Pittman there, camera swings around to catch him, moving into shot. Meanwhile, Simon Norris, here we go, he is back on the move. You can see how much momentum that car is carrying through. Unfortunate big lock up there again. Oh.
Just locking it up on the braking
again. It's not looking good there, is it? Although this time manages to get around.
Oh, he's absolutely flying, so let's see what he can do. If he gets that clean lap, he's frantically looking up what the lap record for Pro Extreme is.
32.5, so the lap record for Pro Extremes is in the 1:09.
Yeah, 1:09.668, so
he's got a second, nearly a second to find. Which is, but you know, when he was on a flyer, when he got stuck in that final sector, he was going faster in sector 1. Unfortunately, oh my, what's going on there?
Smoke coming out there now. That doesn't look good.
Okay, nope, we don't want that.
Oh
no. Yep, no, yep. Oh, he couldn't decide. Does he abort that? Does he stay out? Stressful stuff watching Simon Norris. I wouldn't want to be in that car right now. It's just stressful looking at it on the screen, let alone living it.
Meanwhile, Andrew Barber's set great times at 1:12 as 0:03.
Andrew Barber leading then his class, BC Racing Pro 4-wheel drive. What is going on with Simon Norris? How is this going to end? We have 2 minutes left. I don't, who knows? Is he going to manage to put a lap together? Who knows? Who knows? Andrew Barber comes across the line, fails to improve. There goes Ben Robinson in that noble M12. It's gloriously mechanical sounding Ford V6, breathed upon by born HPP Simon Norris.
No, that is not how we wanted this to end.
It looks like, what is that under the car? Flames, flames. Here comes the fire marshal with a, oh no, fire marshal with a fire extinguisher. That is not what we wanted to see. So close.
No, an unfortunate end for Simon there. Let's see, it really looks like Andrew Barber's on a flying lap here.
1.5 minutes of the session remaining.
Let's see if we can get down into the 111s.
The red flag.
Oh, that's
the red flag.
Wow.
Simon Norris stopped on just the side of the track. Not impossible for another car to clatter into the back of that, and we don't want that. And that is part of the tragedy of time attack, is on one hand you are within touching distance of a lap record, and then the very next moment it's all up in smoke.
Oh, absolutely gutted for Simon there. I know he's been fighting issues all weekend, but yeah, was really hoping he could go out there and yeah, obviously he set a blistering time already, but yeah, that's really unfortunate.
That was stress. Big stress. Big stress just watching that.
That's not the way you want the final to
No, I mean, you could see the
Right,
little
Viva.
licks of flame from under the car just on this camera angle.
yeah, I mean, hopefully it's nothing too serious and they got to it quite early.
I mean, it looks fine now.
Yeah.
I don't know whether it put itself out or whether they deployed the old foamy fire extinguisher, which would cause a massive mess. Whew. So there we go. That is not the end that we wanted to see to the final session of the year, final session of the Time Attack 2021 season. Simon Norris there within touching distance, potentially of a lap record, going faster than he ever has.
But yeah, great result from Ben coming first in class and Ian Pittman as well. It's great results from them. And then, yeah, and Colin Dorrance getting into the 111s as well was
Very impressive stuff.
a shame because Andrew Barber was on such a flyer as well.
Yep. Just about
Yeah.
to crack into the 11s.
Some great lap times being set today.
And, well, I guess that's it. That wraps up. What a sour note to end Time Attack on. But let's not let that take away from an incredible year. Yet another great, successful, amazing, fast, speedy year at Time Attack. Thank you to all of the drivers. Thank you to all of the viewers, all of the visitors here in person, the crews, the staff, the TV people, us, the marshals. Thank you, everyone, so much for another incredible year of Time Attack, and now to face a winter of boredom. What do you even do when there's no Time Attack on? It's just
You
horrible.
prep Time Attack
You
cars.
prep,
That's
don't
what
you?
you do.
That is what you do.
Make new Time Attack cars.
Thank you, everyone, for watching. Thank you, Susie. Yeah, I guess we will sign off now, sad as it is, and we will see you next year. Thank you very much for coming along for this journey, everyone. And we will see you next year.
See you next year.